You've always known what it meant to survive. Even as a child, you felt it. This strange, heavy awareness that the world wouldn't wait for you to be small, that someone had to hold the pieces together when everything felt like it was crumbling. You learned early how to carry more than your share. You became the responsible one, the quiet observer, the fixer of invisible fractures. And for a long time, this was your shield. It saved you. It made you valuable. It made you indispensable. But here's the paradox. The very skill that protected you has also become the thing that sabotages you. That vigilance, that constant caretaking, that hyper-awareness of everyone else's needs. You wear it like armor, but it's crushing you from the inside out. You've grown into an adult who can manage crises, anticipate problems, and soothe the discomfort of others. But who struggles to soothe their own heart? You might feel exhausted, even when nothing external demands it. You might feel isolated, even when surrounded by people. You might notice a quiet, persistent anxiety that whispers, "If I stop, everything will fall apart." That's the child in you, still awake, still believing that the weight of the world depends on your shoulders. And that's what we're going to explore today. The psychology of a child who had to grow up too fast. Not just the behaviors, but the hidden emotional cost. Not just the coping strategies, but the ways they shape your adult life. By the end of this video, you'll recognize yourself in ways that are both unsettling and liberating, and you'll begin to understand that the first step toward freedom is witnessing the pain you endured, without judgment, without shame. In psychology, this phenomenon often begins with a concept called parentification. Parentification occurs when a child is thrust into the role of caretaker, emotionally, physically, or both, before their nervous system is ready. They develop a hyper-acute sensitivity to cues from caregivers. A single sigh, a raised voice, a glance of disappointment becomes a signal to act, to fix, to soothe. This creates what neuroscientists would describe as a rewiring of the default mode network, the brain circuitry responsible for self-reflection and internal processing. For children forced to grow up too fast, this network becomes overrun by hypervigilance. Your brain doesn't rest because it cannot rest. It is always scanning for threats, always anticipating, always performing. At the same time, hypervigilance often pairs with a second phenomenon, avoidant attachment. You may have learned that expressing your own needs, emotions, or vulnerabilities could be met with neglect, criticism, or disappointment. So instead, you suppress your feelings, hide your struggles, and become a master of self-sufficiency. You appear capable, sometimes astonishingly so, but internally there's a quiet famine of emotional nourishment. Finally, there's the existential dimension, the philosophical and psychological cost of early individuation under duress. Jung wrote about the tension between the persona and the shadow, the self we present to survive and the self we hide to avoid harm. When a child grows up too fast, the persona becomes overdeveloped at the expense of the shadow. The responsible adult emerges at the cost of the playful, vulnerable, and creative inner child, encoded in both the psyche and the nervous system. In essence, what we see is a nervous system primed for survival, but untrained in the language of rest, joy, and self-compassion. The child who grew up too fast becomes an adult who can do everything, except allow themselves to simply be.